Unconventional.
You're such a fool,
That's
honestly.
what we are.
That's so not the vibe.
You hear the music?
It's kind of become the vibe though now, that's the thing.
Pick up the one named Bolt.
Oh, you did. Anson Henry.
Jay Johnson.
Man, I don't know if I'm really that recovered.
Yeah, you're weird, yo. You're the biggest, smallest track fan I know.
I would have to agree.
Because I actually missed the Olympics.
I absolutely
I actually
didn't.
felt withdrawal.
It was a great Olympics. There were some great moments. But honestly, I was exhausted. It was basically trying to live life around the Olympic Games for 2 weeks. It was trying to work. You had TV stuff, radio stuff. I had TV stuff, radio stuff. I just want to enjoy and watch the Olympics. I also have a 4-year-old that I've got to entertain. I've also got to do the normal things you have to do. You know, you've got bills and errands and cooking to do and cleaning. But did any of those things get done?
And the time difference.
The time difference. Let's not even get me started. I literally feel like I had jet lag. So did I miss the Olympics? Hell no. Was it a great Olympics? Yes. We've been quiet a little bit since, but we have coming up.
Prefontaine Classic. What a way to follow up the Olympics. Can you remember after the Olympics looking forward to another meet in history? I'll tell you this. This would be my second Olympics since retiring.
Mine too. No, third.
The third.
Yeah, 2012.
Oh, 2012.
You were still trying to be. You were still Olympian.
I really felt like I was supposed to be there.
But we just didn't make it.
It's a long story we're not getting into. So third Olympics, as a viewer, I can't remember thinking about anything else afterwards wanting to see.
So what's making you so excited to want to watch?
The return of Sha'Carri. Big up the one named Sha'Carri. I've been taking so much heat. Nobody can beat Elaine Thompson. What? Is Sha'Carri going to run 10.5? I don't know. But maybe she would have ran 10.60. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the way everyone's on Elaine right now.
Sweet.
I'm not only going to single out the Jamaicans because the Jamaicans made believers out of everybody in the world. But Elaine was a big surprise, quote unquote, for a lot of people. Because a lot of people had Shelly winning. The whole thing was the Shelly versus Sha'Carri. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So Elaine's probably like, for real?
I've
always preferred Elaine. And people get into it with me about it all the time. Like, what is it you have against Shelly? I don't even have anything against Shelly. But Elaine, talent-wise and dominance-wise, always just seemed superior to me.
Well, I think she definitely proved that. Has anyone ever done the double-double, ever? Has anyone?
Women?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Has anyone won the Olympics in the 100
and the
200 and then the next Olympics backed it up?
That's historic. I kind of like how Elaine kind of had, there's a bit of edginess to her after in her interviews because the Jamaicans forgot about her, yeah.
I've been up and down with this injury, same whole injury. And I had faith, I believe in God, I believe in myself. I know what I can do, I know what I'm capable of doing. Even though I see the shade, the bad comment, the mental thing that they throw on me that I'm mental, but I'm not mental. I believe in God and I have faith. And 5 years later, I came here defending my title. God is amazing.
Yeah, Jamaican sweep.
Although, after they did the sweep, they did not look very friendly. Like they wanted to talk to
That's
me.
a whole other issue.
But what I'm saying is, it's entertainment. Listen, we were all like, ooh, they don't like each other.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
They didn't want to stand next to each other. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was vexed.
Shelly's the queen. She's always been the queen.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is more liked than Elaine. The little pocket rocket, they call her, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, with her personality. She's personable, you know, she's a mum. But, she's our bad girl. But at the same time, she's kind of cute and she's very talkative and she's very, gregarious and bubbly. I think she's way more popular of an athlete. I said to my friend the other day, she used to be an athlete, like a club level athlete, but she loved athletics. Hear her to me. So who won the women's 100? And I was like, oh, Elaine Thompson. She's like, who's that? I was like, you've not heard of Elaine Thompson-Herah? She doesn't know the Herah part, but I was like, you've never heard of Elaine Thompson? She's like, no. I said, have you heard of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce? She's like, yeah, of course.
Wow.
This is what's crazy. But Elaine won the 100, 200 at the Olympics. People just don't take to Elaine like they do to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. So
I don't think she cares though.
Elaine over here, she's like a machine. The way she runs. I mean, I have to put this out there. She's the best technician I've ever seen in my life. To me, out of anyone. Men, women, past, present. She's
past and present.
Past,
really,
present. Who's better technically than her?
I
mean, if it was that easy, you would just say it. Who just comes to mind?
But I really like her technique.
I know you do. She is the most efficient runner I've ever seen. She's a
little stiff. I like it. I like the technique, but I feel like Bolt, even though he takes some time to get going, he goes through his phases very well, and his positions are all very good.
But he's a bit rocky rolly. He's got a little bit of extra movement going on.
Left to right, I noticed that.
You know, his back. He's got those back issues, and he's long, and so he's got a little bit out of the blocks and through. Once he gets up, even if you look from front, you can see there's still a little bit of movement going on. There's nothing going on with him.
No, there's not.
So the stiffness that you're talking about, the roboticness, she looked like that Terminator. That was the craziest one. Not the original Terminator, that skinny guy, that cop one, and he had no expression on his face.
Well, I was about to say she probably needs a nickname. Is that the nickname? Elaine the Terminator Thompson?
What? Yeah,
that's kind of nice still.
Listen.
Terminator. Did you miss Sha'Carri?
No, I didn't even think about Sha'Carri. But if I think about now, it just give a bit of variety. It was basically Jamaica against the US. Leading into it, there's just one country against another country. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be Sha'Carri? Is it going to be Shelly-Ann or Elaine or who?
Sha'Carri's ban was the best thing that ever happened to her. Even if she won the Olympics, she would have never been in Kanye's promo.
She's like brethrens with Kanye now.
I doubt that all these celebrities would have been reaching out and putting her name out there on social media, and it wouldn't have happened.
No.
So it makes you think, like, people thinking you can win and not being able to see it is actually more valuable than people seeing you win. I think that's where the value is, because it's kind of like sex. It's almost like the possibilities about how it can be. It's almost better than having it done.
Do you know what it's kind of like? I feel like it's so much more sexy if a woman's got something on. Just something little. I don't know whether it's some lingerie, whether it's just a t-shirt only.
Something suggestive.
Right? Than just butt naked.
That's exactly what it is. So it's kind of like Sha'Carri, and this is figuratively speaking, from a track and field standpoint, she is basically in some lingerie to everybody right now. Mm-hmm. You look at this person in lingerie for an extended period of time, the possibilities and the wondering and it's more valuable and it lasts longer.
The whole point is to see the person naked. So is that period of time where you wait, you don't give the man all the things straight away.
Right.
And there's some anticipation and then you wait. He's already got locked into you and then they have to wait till next year. She's getting more and more and more into our brains with her lingerie on. So we're still fantasizing a little bit about what she's going to do. And we're seeing all these other celebrities and stars fantasizing about her. And so we're like, we're right on the money with fantasizing. And then that's what happens when it gets locked in. We're still waiting.
Right.
Elaine's giving us something to think about because that 1061 ain't no joke.
But a lot of people were saying that Sha'Carri would have gotten licks. I don't think it's fair to say that because everyone built towards the championships. Elaine even built towards the championships. Yeah. We don't know is all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what we do know. She's got a different life right now.
So you don't even really feel like she was training?
Who knows what she was doing? I mean, I think she was really training.
I think she was training with a different level of intensity.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, who knows? Because, she had some distractions. She's rolling with like Dr. Dre. She's Cardi B's brethren nowadays.
What if all of them go to pre?
That's what you're excited about, really, isn't it?
I want to see who's in the stands, yo. We already know a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily watch track are going to be watching that. Just like people were watching the whole DK thing, how that brought all. This is bigger than that.
Yeah. And do you want to know something that's crazy? You've really crossed over when you piss off Nicki Minaj and she starts doing some like tweets about you and like cussing you.
Nicki Minaj is beefing with a track and field athlete, yo.
We made it. We're on the map.
Even Beanie Man was beefing with Sha'Carri. Beanie Man said, "How if I miss you?" For those who don't know, Nicki Minaj sent some Instagram posts out and tweets out basically saying, when the Jamaicans swept, saying, Queen things, you bitches can't relate, and that's okay. And then her Instagram story said, some bitches can't relate. The speculation is that it was directed towards Carrie.
That's what everyone was saying. But is Nicki Minaj Jamaican?
Nah, she's Trinidadian, but
exactly. She just let's just be Caribbean altogether. Sha'Carri, no matter what anyone says, she's exciting. And although the Olympics was freaking crazy and we had all these different crazy things going on, I think it would have been even more exciting if she was there with her little ghetto fabulous self.
Can you imagine the interviews after each round?
What was going on with the way these chicks were running in the rounds?
That's what I'm saying.
They were running like 10-8
and they would have
in the first round.
But imagine seeing Sha'Carri through the rounds too.
I know.
Women dropping times and just
They're,
the way the rounds were.
What?
They would have had to, someone would have had to buck heads, whether it was Shelly and Sha'Carri or Sha'Carri and Elaine or whatever. They'd have to buck heads.
Tell me
they have to do the showmanship, the showwomanship.
Tell me something. One of the most exciting things when you see the lane draws come up for like a semi-final, and you see and you go through the lane and you're like, oh, but this semi is all, and then you start going like, who's gonna do it? Because you're like, there's like 5 people that. Yeah. It's exciting, no? I like rounds.
They need more meets with rounds.
One-off runs are dry. It's not. There's no build-up. There's no excitement.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
You need to develop some sort of story.
The US haven't won the 100 in a minute. Wow.
At the Olympics.
At the Olympics.
Well, not since FloJo.
In the women.
Gail Devers.
Yes.
96.
We nearly forgot about her. But what about the men?
Not since Carl.
Didn't Maurice win the Olympic gold?
So 2000.
Did Justin Gatlin ever won the gold?
Yeah, 04. Okay, yeah.
I'm like, wait there, where are you, dude? I know you're a bit more than you.
And it's funny because those are Olympics that I was very into.
But maybe,
it just feels...
I think you were into it because you were there competing.
It feels like much longer though, because the Americans are so dominant all the time. So since Justin Gatlin.
Which is 2004.
I mean, it's not as bad as for the women.
No, the women ain't been...
I don't know. It's a high standard for the Americans because they always do so well, and they still had a very good competition with a lot of silvers and bronzes and all that stuff, but they didn't win as much as usual. So Eugene having this meet right after the Olympics is somewhat of redemption for them, not necessarily on a large scale. We all know that the Olympics is what really matters, but I think they're going to salvage some respect for themselves if they do well at this competition, if there's some fast times, if they beat some of the people that won. If you were to identify with an American that didn't do well at the Olympics, but go to pre and compete very well, how would that make you feel?
I'd feel really worse.
You feel worse.
Like it doesn't matter now. Because everyone wants to do well at the Olympics, and then you do. And then the meet directly after the Olympics, I go and smash it. Like I sold it. Like honestly, I know I sold it. And everyone's thinking you sold it. Why couldn't you do that 2 weeks ago? What are you doing? What's your coach doing? Is it your coach? Is it you? Is it both of you? You guys need to fix up. Your whole year is based around the Olympics. Now, if you didn't go like someone like Sha'Carri, that's different.
That was my next question.
But that's different. But it's not really fair because she's been waiting, boiling. She's on home soil. It's in the US. Those gal have got to come to the US after the Olympics. Jet lag, travel, they've had to go home. They've got the whole home, the parties and the... Do they really care about coming to America to race this girl on the... No.
Well, as a champion, I would care. If I'm the champion and there was someone that didn't go that a lot of people felt could have beat you and you're competing against them after the games.
I wouldn't care.
Well, that's a good thing. And you should care. But as a champion, you would have to care.
Well,
because you don't want all these talks going around, well, you only won because Sha'Carri wasn't there.
You know what, though? After the Olympics, you shouldn't really come out and do too great.
No.
As a human being, your whole entire year, it comes up to that pinnacle point, at that point, and you achieve it, you should be on a massive down.
I agree.
When I was competing, I never understood athletes that would go win the Olympics and then in the next meet, bow. I'm like, are you human?
Yeah.
Because to me, I've got nothing. I didn't win no Olympics. I didn't even get a medal. I think the best place I came was like, whatever, 6, right? After that, you do not understand how I had nothing left. I'm down now.
Right.
I can't stay up. It's just
No. I expect them to run slower. So she can't beat them and run a 10.7 or a 10.8. If it's going to be something that's notable, she has to beat them and run something really fast. That's when the questions come in. Not if she just beats them, because they're coming down. No,
right? Look, one round, you're not contesting.
One run and you run a 10.5?
But you're not contesting all the rounds. You're also not contesting the travel. She hasn't competed at major championships before.
But the Olympics is a lot more forgiving when it comes to traveling, as opposed to just traveling to a foreign place.
Is it for the US team, really?
What about not this time? Well, okay, they had issues with the whole training camp situation, so maybe she would have had issues as well.
Exactly.
There were some athletes on the US team that had personal training camps, and they might have. I mean, if you think about her training group, a lot of them ran well. Kenny Bednarik ran pretty well. Kaylin Whitney, she ran the heats for the 4x4.
Some of the
she ran
girls,
well.
I know that.
I don't know what their training camp situation was.
All of that.
Yeah,
There's a couple,
but as far as her training group, I don't know if they had some other plans. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But all I know is she would have been taken care of in the best possible way to be in optimal form, like a Sydney McLaughlin.
Okay, but after, when I watched Elaine's interview, she was happy, but she's like, I'm not going to complain and be ungrateful. But I know that was a 10.5 because she stopped running.
Right.
She didn't run all the way through the line. She was actually kind of a far ahead. Even if Sha'Carri was on her, what would they have run? Who knows? But even if Sha'Carri goes and runs 10.5 something now, it never ever means anything if an athlete after the Olympics or the Worlds or whatever goes and beats the person.
All right.
But if it does, no one's going to be like, well, but this situation, people, well, then they're dumb. Then they're dumb.
Okay. In a roundabout way, you called me dumb.
Kinda.
I'm just saying, I feel like there is something.
All that going to Pre and her winning in 10.5 would do would be like, we missed the greatest women's 100-meter race ever for some weed. That's what I'm saying. Right, I'm saying.
The tweets during that meet are going to be.
Oh my gosh. You know I love a little Twitter rage.
The tweets, seeing who's there, seeing how she acts, the post-race interview of whoever wins.
Do you think that they're going to do a press conference?
Before. The press conference before.
Do you know what that would be like? That press conference is like that. It would be like the weigh-in in a boxing match before a heavyweight title fight, and then you just see all you're doing is watching the body language, and you know that Sha'Carri's going to say some feisty shit.
She is,
and then that's going to piss off one of them.
You have to have Sha'Carri, Shelly-Ann, Elaine all together in the middle.
Well, Sha'Carri needs to be in the middle, and then Elaine, and then on either side.
Elaine might have an issue with that. I'd love to be in that meeting before the actual meet. You ever sit in on any of those
technical meetings?
Technical meetings? I've sat in on a couple when I used to travel. I used to just like being there. I didn't need to, but I used to like seeing the agents argue and stuff.
I know.
Agents argue for hours. I know that would be an entertaining technical meeting.
Well, that's what type of shit really needs to be on televised on TV. I want to see, the behind the scenes, what goes on with the agents and the coaches.
That would be good.
Because have you ever been there on the relay decisions? Like what's going on, the drama?
Of course.
Well, obviously
I've been on relay teams. You jerk. How you doing? I'm Anson-Herah. I used to run track a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Would that not be entertaining?
What? Especially with the American team.
Know.
The American team should be, that should be a reality show. That should be a reality show.
That should be a reality show. 100%.
US relays? I'm going to produce that. Let's put it out there. The main people, their season, how it builds up, how it progresses to the championships.
And then how they choose. And it will be
and if they have a 1-2 training camp.
6 or 8 people, you follow them, the main ones, and then see who makes it and who makes the cut and who doesn't. And then how the coaches come to actually choose the team.
Yeah, those are rough championships for the 4x1, the American 4x1.
The dudes didn't even.
Cravon Gillespie, actually. The anchor leg that everyone was getting. Cravon, yeah.
Is his name Craven?
Craven. Craven. For those who don't know, Craven in Jamaican greedy. Vernacular, it means greedy.
Proper Craven.
So Craven, but it's actually Cravon.
That sounds like in the Jamaican accent,
Greedy Gillespie. Anyways,
Greedy Gillespie.
You might like that.
Greedy Gillespie.
Yeah.
It's a good.
But anyways, they were in second when he got the baton.
No, that was the worst.
In the heats. And ended up in 5th.
Well, it can't be worse than the men's British 4x1 team.
Well, it is worse. Because they didn't make the final.
What is it? What with the dude CJ who's now been banned and we ain't got no
you're
medal.
talking about that. It's better they didn't get the gold.
Listen,
for those who don't know, Great Britain had a very close second place finish in the men's 4x100 meters. So they got a silver medal to the Italians, who had a very good championship.
Tortu came through.
Tortu took over Nathaniel Mitchell Blake. I almost said Nathaniel. You got me saying Nathaniel,
Because
and I know Nathaniel, yo. I never mess that name up.
Does he actually
You're
go around
ruining
saying
that
my
for me.
name's Nathaniel?
It's his name, yo.
No, but have you heard him actually say that?
Nathaniel, with the British accent.
No,
Nathaniel.
Does he say
with the F.
Nathaniel?
Nathaniel.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, it's Nathaniel.
It's man, that's fresh.
It is a fresh name.
That is the freshest name. The man's name really is Nathaniel, but his parents said, no, we're going to make him different. We want him to be special.
Anyways.
He's special.
Nathaniel.
Don't anyways
He got taken
me.
over. He got taken over by.
Why are you anywaysing me?
Because I don't want this man's name like that.
No, I ain't dissing it.
Nathaniel. So they were winning to with about 10 meters left. And Nathaniel got taken over. And they got a silver. But if they got that gold and got a gold medal taken away because of the positive test by CJ Uja.
Yeah, so those that don't know, CJ Uja got tested positive for SARMs. What does SARMs stand for again? I've never ever heard of it in my life.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't even know.
No.
I thought it was something out the Bible. I'm just saying.
That is fresh. Psalms 22 verse what? That's fresh.
Is
Anyways,
it not? What is the acronym?
Selective Androgen Receptor Modulator. So, SARMs are a class of therapeutic compounds that have similar anabolic properties to anabolic steroids, but with reduced androgenic, and in brackets, producing male characteristics, properties. As an example, the androgen receptor is activated by binding androgens such as testosterone.
Mm.
So, from some of the reading I've done since this happened, it can be just put in supplements sometimes without people knowing.
Why would they do that?
Well, it makes the supplements better. I've heard that this happens.
But no, hold on. Apparently, from what I've heard, he doesn't even take supplements. But if he doesn't take supplements, how did it get in his system?
Yeah, obviously he's taking supplements. I don't know. A couple articles I've read.
I don't know any athlete that doesn't take some sort
Me
of
neither. I don't
supplement.
even know how that's possible.
I'll take my little multivitamins. I might take my little, at the most, you're going to get me doing like L-glutamine. Do you remember L-glutamine?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a supplement. You never took creatine before?
Never. Are you crazy? I'm not taking creatine and what? Tear my hamstrings, get cramps. No, dude. No. I saw way too many hamstring tears.
Happened a lot. Well, under the suspicion that this assisted him, they're losing the medal no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether he took it accidentally, we'll never know exactly what happened, but even if he did take it by accident, they're losing that medal because he's benefited off of it. But if they got that gold and got the gold taken away, it'd be much more than losing a silver.
There was one other little shocker that happened at the Olympics in the women's 100.
Ah, blessing.
That was not a blessing.
I'm glad that in the last second, I took her out of my medal favorites. I felt like she had a shot.
I mean, with that 10.6 that she ran, a little bit windy.
So a little bit windy.
She looked ridiculous as well in that run.
She looked very good in that run.
Ridiculous. It was like,
leading
what is she
into
doing?
championships, I think it was, that's the type of shape you want to be in.
Crazy.
And then all of a sudden she runs her heat and then she's taken out of the semifinals because she tested positive for growth hormone.
Growth hormone, Along with everything
I'd rather
else
get banned before my first round, yo.
Hell yeah.
I ain't trying to run my first round feeling nice and then you get pulled out.
Well,
you get pulled off stage.
I'm glad
she basically got pulled off stage.
And the funny thing about growth hormone, from what I understand, dude, it's out of your system within 24 hours. That's one of the hardest things about growth hormone. The Nigerian team were going through it.
They're already taking heat.
And it was all to do with how Nigeria had, not done whatever they were supposed to do to allow their athletes to be tested in the amount of times they were supposed to lead into the games. So we saw this whole thing where athletes were literally protested. They weren't allowed to compete.
Right.
Such a libby. How is that fair? That's not their fault. Like you
mean it's not the athlete's fault?
It's not the athlete's fault.
No, it's
not. Am I supposed to go running down the drug tester, like knocking on their door? They're supposed to be knocking on my door.
Right.
Why would you think to do that? You
don't.
Know. So they didn't even miss tests.
No.
How has this got to this point? Hold on. All I have to do is give my whereabouts. If they don't come and test you, that's not on you. So that's what was happening. And so the whole blessing thing happened while that was all like a talking point. So I think everyone kind of well, it's part of the same thing, but it actually isn't, because Blessing doesn't train in Nigeria. She trains in Florida. I didn't know this. She trains with Raina Ryder. And, he's one of the top coaches.
It's a bad look.
He's Christian Taylor's coach. He's Andre's coach. Yeah. He's, who else? Trayvon's coach.
Nia
Ali.
Omar
McLeod. He used to basically live and train and be part of British athletics as well.
Right.
First he was based in London, then they moved and were based in Loughborough. But he's a top coach. Yeah. He's apparently never had any other athletes ever test positive or anything like that. That's his first one. She moved to him within the year. But she's obviously super talented. 19 years old, won the silver medal at the Olympics in the long jump. And she was training with Bobby Kersey in LA.
Right.
And that group. And then she stopped kind of doing as much long jump when she was training with Bobby Kersey. She was doing the 100s and 200s.
She's always come across as very talented.
She is very talented. But at the same time, it's like, guess what? HGH. We could all be more talented if we were taking HGH, no?
But the Americans had issues, obviously, not getting through the first round.
That's one thing that we've put a lot of money into in this country. We've got a whole relay program where they actually go away on relay. They do a lot of relay practice together. And it's actually made a massive difference. You just have a little bit more confidence in what they're going to do. It doesn't matter if you have 4 of the fastest guys in the world. Clearly, they had a lot of the fastest guys in the world. Did nothing. Practice, obviously, is super important. After they run, Curly and Ronnie Baker were asked how much practice they did together. And Curly's like, I don't know. How can you not know? Sound like he just didn't want to say.
Yeah, obviously.
And then Ronnie Baker was like, not that much.
Well, they didn't do any.
Well, there you go.
But they chose the head relay coach for the men about 5 days before.
Oh, Lord.
Because the original relay coach couldn't come. His wife's ill. So they didn't feel like it would be safe to bring him just in case she got sick. Then they got to send him home. And then, But they still ended up choosing a coach just a few days before the competition, which isn't always good. But before the games,
they did no practice.
No, they did no practicing. Now, leading into the day, they had 1 day of practice.
Yeah.
And that's not with everybody, because some people were still competing.
Yeah.
They had the 200, right? Spoke to a few people about this.
And that's what I think the
very
holding
connected.
Camps, very connected.
Yeah, and they didn't do any practicing. It's not the way you want to go into a relay. But this is the thing, though. What happened to them wasn't really about handoffs, if you ask me. They had 1 bad exchange at the second exchange from Fred Curley to Ronnie Baker. Ronnie Baker didn't get out on the 3rd leg and messed up. But they still got the baton to second place going into anchor leg. And really, if Cravon did a little something, they survive, at least get 3rd. But they dropped down to 5th. Handoffs really wouldn't have helped that. They could have had clean handoffs and got the baton to Cravon. They might have gotten the baton in 1st, but he would have dropped down to 4th. So that's not really a relay issue when you really think about it. So I don't really know how you blame anybody for what happened in that situation, but the relay coach is taking the heat for what happened.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is fair. Someone just ran a bad anchor leg.
Let's break down this pre-classic schedule.
So the women's 800 is going to have your girl.
My girl. So
the Olympic medalists are going to be at pre. Yep.
Keely Hodgkinson, the British girl. 19, another 19-year-old. I think Mo ran 1:55.21 to win the gold.
American record.
Years old, Lord of mercy. American record, yeah. Could be American record. We say record. Yeah, American record. Keely Hodgkinson was 2nd in a British record, beating Kelly Holmes. You know, she won like the double 8 and 15.
British record, that's huge.
In the Olympics. Massive, because Kelly Holmes is like Dame Kelly Holmes.
Yeah.
You know, she in 2004 she won the 800 at the Olympics and then went and won the 1500. So she got damed by the Queen. But then Laura Muir in the 1500 took her British 1500 meter record, and then Keely Hodgkinson ran 1:55.88, took her British record.
But both of her records are gone.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone could be happy if someone teeps your record. You have to act happy. That's the thing. You act like you're happy, otherwise you're a hater. You feel like a hater. But you can't be happy because your record got wiped out. And then Raven Rogers, the American. She came from nowhere. She was way back. That last 100, she came through. She got the bronze.
Personal best.
Yeah.
156.81.
Mm-hmm.
That's rolling.
I know. Listen, but then when 2 19-year-olds just hand you some things on a plate and say, eat that, and you don't even like it, it's like a liberty. But
so Ting was a definite bright spot for the Americans.
yeah, man. Do you know the funniest thing ever? Have you heard the commentary of Les Dog? What's her actual name?
Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones. She is hilarious, the comedian. She basically tweeted the whole Olympics. And she was putting videos and they're doing a commentary to it. It is the most hilarious, funny shit ever. She is funny. We want her doing the commentary. They should have had her doing the commentary for the pre-classic between Snoop and Kevin Hart. Snoop, Kevin Hart and her in the middle. Yeah. This is the funniest. Because Kevin Hart and Snoop did their thing.
They did.
For the NBC. But it was funny. But it was like if she was sitting in the middle.
It was not her levels though. Like she's legit funny. She's funny to track people.
But she loves track.
The thing
is she
understands track.
She just she connects to track and field, and she talks about like wishing that she could have done it, but she couldn't do it when she was a kid and la la la.
She loves the thing more.
At the US trials, she was doing the same thing, commentating on it. She said her brethren called her and was like, "Have you seen this girl running in there? And she looks like you." And then she's like, "Oh my god, she looks like me."
Yeah, she hailed her up on Instagram and a thing Mo responded.
And then she was
saying
like,
"Thanks for the love."
Yeah, Leslie Jones was like her response was like, "Oh," she was like starstruck for a thing there.
ESPYs, you got that wrong. You might as well just bring that up right now. The ESPYs Collegiate Athlete of the Year on the women's side.
She didn't even get nominated.
She wasn't
even the nominations.
Let alone win.
And that was that chick, innit? That basketball white chick.
Paige Bucher.
All
team sport athletes. Softball, basketball, soccer. I don't remember the other one. Collegiate record indoors in the 8. Collegiate record outdoors in the 4. U.S. record in 800 meters for everyone. Mm-hmm. Number 1 in the world in the 800 meters. Mm-hmm. Number 3 in the world in her secondary event, 400 meters.
In the whole world. Not in the juniors, not in the NCAAs, the whole world.
The whole world, no nomination.
0 nomination.
And the Olympic gold medal was just the stamp on it that the ESPYs got that wrong.
Because remember, she's still a junior. That time she's 18.
Yes.
She only turned 19 after the ESPYs.
Yes.
So even at 19, she's still a junior right now.
Oh. Big up the one named a Ting Mo.
You know.
I like calling her a Ting, yo.
But she calls herself Ting Ting.
Ting Ting.
So there you go.
We know that Karsten Warholm is running the open 400 meters.
Well, he thinks he's going to run 42.
Did he actually say that?
I saw that he said that.
He said that.
I don't know. Well, that's what I thought he said.
That's bossy, yo.
I think I did see somewhere that, I mean, obviously you might be joking, but I saw like 42.
But what if he did?
But
he won't. Rye would beat him in a 4. He's already sprinting that 4 hurdles, yo. I think that's what it's going to be close to what he can run.
Imagine, you know, it'd be
his
really...
4 isn't going to be that much different from his 4 hurdles because he's sprinting that, yo.
This is what would be really funny.
Yeah. If he ran slower.
This man ran 45.99. I would crack up. I would be like, oh yeah, stick to the hurdles, dude.
Yo, I don't think it's going to be that much different, to be honest.
What I want to know is how much is paying all of these people to run? Because obviously you have your prize money, but I'm talking about appearance fees.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys put out a tweet saying like, how much dough basically are these people putting out? I hope the girls that are running these hundreds and all these races are basically taking the money they deserve, right? And then Tiana Bartoletta responded and said, not necessarily, because if they're Nike athletes, that's one of your contract obligations.
So they might not really be getting...
Well, Sha'Carri is definitely contract obligated to do that.
All of them, they're all Nike athletes.
So Shelly-Ann, that's what they said. And they said, hold on. And it was funny because Backstreet Boys were like, hold on. Are they all Nike athletes? Yeah. I swear I thought that Shelly-Ann and Elaine were at Puma. And he's like, well, clearly the Nike branding ain't working for them because I actually think of them as being Puma too.
Yeah.
If I think about it, to me, I thought Shelly-Ann and Elaine were Puma.
Puma. I love how you say Puma.
We call it Puma.
Yeah. There's a definite relation between them and Jamaica.
So you
always just think, Puma, Jamaica. Puma, Jamaica. Yeah. That's what you usually think. So as far as them being standout Nike athletes, you don't see it.
You definitely
Nike's very American. So you think Sha'Carri, you think Nike. Mm-hmm. But you don't think that necessarily for the Jamaican women.
No. So Puma's done a really good job with the branding. Because even with Nike being their sponsor, you just think of instantly Puma.
Yeah.
But if they're Nike and they're all contracted, then they have to. It's a contract obligation to perform. So they might not even have to be paid that much.
Some Puma athletes are required to go to pre as well.
Why?
No idea. But with how commercialized Eugene is, it's probably a big meet to make sure you go to. So it doesn't matter if you're Nike or not. I think all shoe companies ideally want you at the Prefontaine Classic. So it shows a stranglehold that Nike has on track and field because they're getting other shoe companies to be required to be at that meet because it's Nike headquarters, Nike Town, the Nike meet. Pre is like required for the top names to be at.
Did you see that thing before the Olympics? It just reminded me, just before the Olympics. Did you see the one they put out with the super shoe, making it generic and said, any of you guys, just to make it fair, we're coming out with a bland shoe and you can put your logo on it.
That's bossy, yo.
So feisty.
That is.
They literally came out of an advertising, going to the Olympics saying, we are putting out a shoe that's plain, that any brand can put their brand logo on it because we want everyone to be on the same playing field. I was like, that is the limit. It's so disrespectful.
Nike's running the thing right now.
Yeah, that has to
It was charitable. Like they're acting like they're being charitable, but really it's just like we own the thing. So you want some help?
I remember when I was sponsored by them and I used to work in Nike Town. But I actually asked because it was so cool. Like I used to go to Nike Town all the time, and I asked them like just to keep my mind busy and whatever. Can I work there a couple of hours here or there? And the people that work there are like it was like a cult. It was like this thing where everyone was in this trance about Nike.
Nike has a very strong culture.
They do, very so.
Is there a reason the word culture has the word cult in it?
See that there?
Do you ever notice that?
No.
Wow, crazy, right? Yeah.
You haven't one of those. You had a really moment, you know. This is another one of those Anson Henry moments.
But it's very strong. The following for Nike and
it's cultish. It literally is. It really, really, really is.
You ever been to the Nike campus?
No.
Kind of cool.
Men's 100 meters at Pre, 200 meters. We got the men's 800, Bauman mile, 2 mile. Men's triple jump, men's shot put. Men's shot put is crazy. It's got the 3 medalists from the Olympic Games. Obviously, Ryan Krauser, who I think every single one of his throws were over the previous Olympic record.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I mean, he's just in a different class.
Yeah, the 100's going to be hot. But Marcel Jacobs, the Olympic champion, isn't going to be there. He was supposed to be there, but he pulled out. A lot of debate as to why. His name got mixed in with nutritionist that has some skeptical methods.
Drugs from the gym that he works at. He's happy to give them out and give people drug programs. Yeah.
Yes.
Like banned drugs, like steroids or whatever programs people do in bodybuilding gyms. So but yeah.
Very skeptical methods.
He left him in March.
Yeah, he left him in March.
This year. Not last year, by the way, guys. This year, like a couple months back.
Yes.
When all this started coming out.
Yeah. I'd like to mention that I had him as a medalist.
You did.
Many people didn't even know the guy. But I didn't have him winning. And I was very surprised at him winning and running as fast as he did.
Yes, very.
Very fast.
Well, not very. I mean, 980.
Yeah, like, I'm saying... Okay,
we're very spoiled nowadays. That would have been fast some years back.
Yeah, but for someone who's never run it before, that's fast.
Donovan Bailey broke the world record around 984 and won the Olympic gold. So we've come a long way.
I know. For you to be shrugging your shoulders. You're shrugging your shoulders at 980.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But he's not running it pre. But everyone else that was a favorite. Fred Curley's going to run. Silver medalist. Andre DeGrasse, bronze medalist, going to run. Big up to one name, Andre DeGrasse.
Is he? So he's not running the 2?
Nah.
Man ran 1962.
It was definitely different this time around compared to in Rio, where, it was a sold out crowd. It was loud. You could feel the energy in the stadium. So it took some getting used to, listening to music. The light show kind of helped. I told some of my teammates and my members on the team, try to go in the stand. So I was like, trying to listen out for them. So, I mean, it was tough, but, I knew everybody was in the same boat and I just had to try to just get the job done with or without the fans. But just try to, stay relaxed, but still move through the turn. And when we kind of got off the bend, I saw myself in great position. Kenny was a little bit in front of me, and then I saw Noah on the inside. And I knew I just had to just relax coming home. That's my strong part of my race. So I felt like I was in great striking distance coming off the turn and really just, like I said, just continue to relax and pump my arms. And once I, got to like the last 5-10 meters, I kind of knew that, I looked a little bit to the corner of my eye, and I saw myself was still leading, and I just leaned at the line, and I knew I had won, but I didn't know it was going to be that fast. So it was crazy that I actually ran 19.6, a national record, into a headwind. So I definitely felt like if I did have the fans, that works to my advantage, and I probably could have ran faster. But either way, man, I'm grateful for finally making my dream come true and being an Olympic champion.
Big up the one named Andre DeGrasse, yo.
That's crazy.
Making me look like a genius. I don't know how well he'll run here because the race doesn't mean nothing. So
Yeah.
I collect a check, and then
Yeah.
Ronnie Baker, who's expected to be battling for the gold. I feel like Ronnie Baker is going to run very well.
Yeah.
Trayvon Burmell,
The one who was supposed to win, he tweeted the other day.
965.
That's what he tweeted.
Feeling
That was
confident.
But I mean,
Trayvon's a great
does it-
one-round
like we
runner.
but like we said earlier, like, does it really matter if he runs he ran 977 from May? Probably shot his load a little bit early. I think he even alluded to the fact that might have been one of the
Right.
reasons. But you ran 977 in May, couldn't carry it through. Who knows all the reasons? He had a few.
Yeah.
He had a few.
He came out with a few explanations.
I watched something he did with that raise take thing. And then
Big up Ray's take, by the way.
I couldn't even watch all of it. I just don't know whether people should do stuff straight after something. And then I don't like the whole excuses thing. Like, oh, well, I just don't like it. I just think I don't think you should do it. It's not that you shouldn't. You could do whatever you want, but it's not a good look.
It would have been better to just not say nothing. I'll say this. If you go to the games and then in a competition, run well afterwards, him running fast does nothing for me.
It does nothing. And
it probably does nothing for him.
And also, the guy that won the gold is not there.
No.
So, yeah.
It's not there.
So it doesn't matter what you do.
But if you didn't go for some unforeseen reason, and then afterwards, you know what I'm saying, because you didn't get a shot, and then you show that if I was there, whatever. Yeah. Justin Gatlin's in the race.
Ooh, interesting. Now, he didn't get to go.
No.
Because he pulled up with a
Got
hamstring or injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
at the US trials. So now if he wins, that would be like what could he have done?
if he wins, he's definitely not retiring.
But he should.
Ideally.
Isn't he 40 years old now?
Almost.
Kim Collins ran like a PB at
He
40.
did. He did. So
He ran like 9 something.
yeah. And I know Justin probably feels like he can. If he's in the right mind frame, yeah. But if he goes to pre and gets licks,
that those years that just keep carrying, and the gift that keeps on giving, that?
this would be a good last race.
Oh, you missed that one.
Oh, wow.
Harry, that's what they say. When you
Okay.
take drugs that much.
I just got it.
Drugs, the gift that keeps on giving. Anyway,
Yeah. So,
I
but
think it would have been cool if he was a fully fit Justin. It would have been added an extra layer of excitement, I guess, to the men's 100 at the Olympics. But it's going to be here, so let's
he'll
see
be
what
here.
you can do.
We'll see what he can do. And
And you know what I was
the
going to say?
aforementioned Trayvon Gillespie.
Trayvon Gillespie.
Greedy Gillespie.
One of the things with Justin that we definitely know is that even after 4 or 8 years or whatever it is of being, this man will train, and he's got some focus. He can carry it. Doesn't matter, injury, whatever. This little few weeks is nothing for that stint. Man did an 8-year stint or 4-year stint, whatever it was, banned. He did a stint and came out blapsing again. So clearly a few weeks ain't going to, some people might be like, oh, well, is he going to be he's just going to come straight back in. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He might win.
Yeah. Michael Norman has
Ooh.
caught wind of the 400-meter success of Fred Curley and said, yo, I'll run 9.8 before. Put me in that 100.
Right?
So
Because he really didn't do good in the
that's
400.
going to be interesting. And what's interesting in the heat sheets is that it has personal best for everybody. And for season best, his is blank. He ain't run 100 yet this year, yo. But he's like, yo, put me in.
Do you know what's funny? Because you got to big up Fred for that.
That was a
is
surprise.
G. The man
Huge
bet
surprise.
on himself.
Big up Fred Curley, yo, because that was a
big
definite
ups.
surprise to me, yo.
Big ups.
Straight up.
Big ups. You got to give it. Man bet on himself, and everyone was like, and he said, you know what? This is what I'm about to do. But you know what that's done? Michael Norman, who was this phenom everyone's been talking about for the last how many years, how absolutely phenomenal he is, because he's one of the first people to run like under 10, under 20, and under 44.
Yeah.
He's one of the flops of the flop flops.
Yeah, man.
He flopped. That was, but I just was not feeling him from even though he won the US trials, he just didn't look convincing.
Seems a little
to me.
shaky.
He's just not convincing.
There's something about him that doesn't
he just
feel.
doesn't have
It's
that-
hard to be confident in what he's going to do. he's not distinguishing himself in the big competitions.
He's not.
He looks very regular.
You know what, though? Sometimes when you're talented, super talented, but you're overthinker, it can be really, really devastating to you.
Yeah.
You need to be like them mans that really ain't got too much between the brain cells. Yeah. And it's like, what do you mean? And they don't even think.
Right.
You know, like if you're a thinker, I don't mean, but you know what I'm saying?
She's not calling them dumb. She's just saying they're not thinkers.
Yeah. But you can see that he's a bit of an overthinker.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that thinks.
Yes.
The brain just needs to switch off and let the action happen.
Yeah. There's an element of ignorance that is a blessing.
I was a little bit of an overthinker. I was a perfectionist. That's not good.
That's not a blessing.
It's not a blessing.
Yeah.
It's really not. When you're a perfectionist and you're an overthinker, it just stops you from moving, flowing. That's one of the things I love about Sydney. A post-race interview, I think it was after a semi-final, and they were interviewing her, and then they were asking her whatever, you know, how do you feel about the pressure? The pressure's like, pressure's an illusion. And she just walked off. So what she's done is she's blatantly, you can see she's the thinker, she's deeper, but she's knowing that she has to like find a way to deal with it. And I think she's clearly 51:45?
I think you just put it in the air that she may run 50 point at some point in the 4 hurdles.
Well, she ain't that far off.
She should do a Karsten. She should run the Open 4.
That's what I think she should do. 100%. That would be a great idea.
And we don't know for sure.
Maybe she might, because at the moment, I want to see her run a 200.
Really? I don't get speed from her.
Oh,
I get speed endurance.
But you don't get speed from that shit? She ran 12.6 in the hurdles, which the first year ever doing it.
Yeah, but a lot of 12.6 hurdlers may run 11 mid or 11 high in the
But I just
sprint.
think, come on now. I mean,
I'm interested in her Open 4.
You run 40. She's run a 49. I am definitely interested in the Open 4. But I would love to know that's what I'm trying to say though. What kind of level of speed that she has. Fred Curley, 400 meter runner. Oh, I can run bow 9.8. Is she that guy? Or is she more, let me run a 400, let me run a 4 hurdles. I can blaps out an 800.
I think she's a Karsten. I'm seeing her as that. Yeah, but you're seeing her as a Rye.
No. I don't know, because I feel like she's got a flow like Rye more.
She kind of does.
I feel like first year ever.
I wonder what he would run in the sprint hurdles. But it's different because the hurdles are higher, right?
Yeah. So. I don't know. I just would love to know what she can run for a 200.
Yeah. And can we just briefly talk about her reaction when she set the world record in Tokyo?
Yeah. There was basically none.
Is that because of the crowd? I don't know. But there was nothing exciting about her response to setting a world record while winning an Olympic gold medal.
At 21 years old.
Was it because the final was in the daytime?
Because don't talk to me about those finals being in the day. That makes no sense. You're supposed to have a final. You said this. You're supposed to have a final at night under the lights.
Under the lights.
Not under the sun.
No.
Not in the blazing sun.
Finals are meant to be done under the lights.
And look at that they did it on a couple of the finals, but they couldn't do it on all of them. Why? Because half of them were in the daytime, which basically, when they had that thing where the lights went out and then they did that light show. For the
so
final.
You eradicate that.
And then you have the day, you have the name down the lane.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
There's none of that, no.
Finals in the day. Get rid of that.
That was
we
a bad
don't care
idea.
about that, World Athletics.
But yeah, maybe this is all too easy to her right now.
I don't know. This girl is 21 years old. She's the face of athletics for a hot minute. And, we know that she's kind of gone more to the religious side in this last year. We've spoke about this. I just think she's just trying to deal with the enormity of the pressure. I don't think the human psyche is built, especially at such a young age, without being developed as a person, to be able to handle that many eyes, that many opinions, that much pressure on those young shoulders. You're given this ability to go and do something that no one else in the world can do, and your head and shoulders above. Plus, on top of that, she's also got the look that the world loves, like a branding dream.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot. Most people who take on the religious side is usually when they're under some sort of turmoil, when they're looking for something to kind of get them through something tough. Mm-hmm. And then they find the religion. And, some people are born into it, understand that, but that's not what it come across like to me. I'm not saying she was never religious, but she wasn't like religious like she is now. No one's in their happiest life. Happy, great, everything's amazing. I'm my work life, my love life, my family life. I'm happy and I'm just going to become a super, super Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like super deep in it. It doesn't happen. So what is going on with her? I think right now she's just 21 years old. She's young. She's trying to deal with the pressure. And you know what she's done? She's like, God, take that pressure. It ain't on me.
Big up the one named Dalila Muhammad.
She smashed it. I love the way she ran that race.
Gold medalist and world record holder to 390 meters.
395.
Yeah.
She was like 5 meters out. And
She
just
ran very
couldn't hold
well.
her. If there was a crowd.
The crowd might have put her over the top.
That's what I'm saying.
The crowd might have helped Sydney
After
crumble.
Everything she went through, Delilah, this year, she had like 2 races.
And then you come and run 51.5.
51.50, you know. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
She had an extra bit of fire in her. I felt like a little extra bit of fire in her. She wasn't ramping. She did not come to a ramp.
You could
she
argue.
basically did what I did after seeing Carson break the world record.
Right.
This dude's like,
Went
no,
to the
I'm
lab.
not coming to Europe. I'm going to go and blap some first 200 because I didn't run that. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand it to this guy. And you know that they were doing the timings and the coach was like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. And he's like, I'm in 46.2 shape. He can't ramp. I reckon he's going to run 46.5. But I'm in 46.2.
Yeah.
He ain't ramping. And they were excited. You know, they were doing the happy dance in training
Yeah,
after
they
they did
probably
those
felt like
cups.
they had
Like,
the ace in the back pocket, yo.
You know-
46.2. I'm ready to run 46.2, and this cat doesn't even know.
And he doesn't. And then guess what?
Didn't matter,
40,
dude.
45.9. Lord of mercy. And you know what makes me laugh? After his reaction said it all. Because I saw a tweet and he basically said, if someone had told me before that I'm going to run 46.1 and not win, I would have punched him in the face, beat them up and kicked them out of my room. There's no chance.
He ran the race to perfection.
What did he run? 46.17?
He got the perfect lane, had Carson in his sights. He kind of just trotted behind him and plotted on him throughout the whole race. Saw his moment coming off the 8th hurdle, made a move. And then Carson made another move, yo. That was the standout moment of the games for me.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was my favorite
I was
moment.
about to ask you, what's your favorite moment?
That was the moment that was like, wow.
My one like that would have to be, not that it outdid that moment, because that was cool, but unfortunately I didn't watch that one live because I was sleeping because it was in the middle of the night. But it's not the same when you don't watch it live. It just isn't. But my one that I watched live, that I put a reaction video out of me reacting to, was
Yulimar.
Rojas in the triple jump. That 15.67, she smashed everyone in the face. Like it's been building. It's been there for so many years. I've been watching this girl since like 2014, just coming in raw talent. Ivan Pedroso, who is my favorite ever long jumper, right? The girl who got the silver medal, she also trains with Pedroso. So that camp right there, they're doing their things. And obviously, you know, team jump over here. She smashed it. I was so excited. I'm telling you. She's going to hop and step 11 meters, so she definitely needs to move that board back. Because women go off the 11 meter board, men go off the 14 meter board. But I'm telling you this chick is going to jump 16 meters.
But then they'd have to adjust the measuring equipment.
It's going to have to. They're going to have to. What are you going to do? Is she going to be like discriminated against because she's jumping too far?
Yeah. No, seriously.
Sounds like something they'd say about women as well. No, sorry. Got to limit yourself. You know, you're doing too much. You're jumping too far.
So we saw 3 world records.
We did.
Technically, we saw more because some silver medalists were world record holders, world record setters as well.
But not. It was an interesting games.
Yeah. And it's leading to a lot of anticipation towards this Prefontaine Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Anticipation we've never seen in a while for a post-Olympics Diamond League.
Now that we finally come out of that post-Olympic lull,
it was tough, man.
Tough.
I missed the Olympics. It was better than I expected it to be, but it wasn't what it could have been. I'm sorry, yo. Every moment that happened, I was still thinking, but imagine if the crowd was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a huge factor in so many ways.
I'm glad they did it. They actually handled it absolutely fantastically. But the one thing I'm not going to change my mind on is how much of it is it really Olympics without there being a crowd? Because as far as I'm concerned, who knows what the performances would have been? And that's part of it. That's part of the feeling. This whole Olympics was amazing, but it was very head heavy. I didn't really hardly ever get anything connected to my heart. Every single moment I think of when I think of the Olympic Games, the crowd is involved. Although these Olympics were fantastic with the performances, will it be an Olympics that will stay in my heart? For me, no.
Thanks for tuning in to the Unconventional Voices of Track and Field podcast. Like, follow, and join the conversation at Voices of TNF, as well as subscribe to the show across all podcast platforms.